still don't know to this day how I afforded it. I must have stole the money from my dad or something. Anyway, somehow on the way, I found my way to make that investment. I went out to that conference, and I had the opportunity to meet Greg and to learn from Greg. And then from there, ended up investing in a training program that Greg was running at the time. I don't know exactly how much I spent on all of that. That translated into getting a foothold with my origination career and starting to get some success as an originator, and then eventually joining a one-on-one coaching program where I worked with a personal coach for a couple of years in there. Long story short, I doubled my business year over year, 4 years consecutively, and by the time I left retail origination the first time around in late 2003, mid-2002, I had closed over 237 purchase transactions my last 12 months in the business. Now, that doesn't hold a candle to the kind of production that Greg and his team had done over the years, where Greg was, people hear that, Greg was the first billion-dollar originator in our industry. And what that came from was over 10,000 loans in 15 years. If you do the math on that, that works out to about 60 loans a month. Now, some of you may be thinking that's impossible, and some of you may be thinking that's way beyond your reach, and you can't even imagine how to do that kind of volume. But I've had the great privilege and honor and blessing of working with Greg for many, many years and getting to study the model of what he did and how he did it, how he launched that kind of amazing volume in production, as well as the hundreds of other originators that he's taught how to do it. And I'm thinking that Greg should be with us here momentarily. I got a chat from his assistant that they're getting it figured out and they're getting him dialed in, so he should be joining us very quickly on this program. But until I actually hear him speak up, I'm going to go ahead and keep right on rolling with the program. So let me share with you a snapshot of what we did based on some of the ideas and strategies that Greg shared during his talk. What we did as part of this live program, this Planning to Win Summit, what we did is we took people and walked them through how to create key results and what the focus and priorities of those goals were. And as we did that, we walked them through a 5-step process that we call the Power Transformational Growth Process. Now, this is a strategic planning process in and of itself. It is a process that we use to help people break down where their opportunities for growth are and to drill down to an action plan that they can actually use. So as we do this, the challenge with most fundamental strategic planning programs is they're broken. They start in the wrong place. They start from a very reactive mindset. Often strategic planning consultants come in and have a company or a team do what's called a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a powerful exercise if you know where you're already going, but it's so totally just looking at the situation where you are and how to go only a couple of steps better, which is why most companies get very frustrated with the strategic planning process altogether and abandon it very quickly. Well, what we found out is that there's something more important than just the analysis or assessment of where you are, which is a valuable exercise, but it has to start with a vision and a purpose, personal goal. Begin with the end in mind type concept so that we can get you started in the right place with a higher vision and a goal of what you would really like your business and life to look like 1 year from today. From there, then we need to start looking at and assessing the obstacles and challenges that we're faced with, then looking specifically to the solutions that overcome those obstacles or challenges, and then drill it down into a step-by-step process that gets implemented so that we can refine as we go. And I think Mr. Frost has been able to join us working through some of the audio and technical difficulties. Greg, are you there?
I think I'm the biggest difficulty. The audio, if I could just learn how to use this system, I'd be a lot better off.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Those of you out in webinar land, if you can chat in your question and answer response, I'm going to let Greg kind of jump in here and take over an important message that he wanted to share with you. Greg, I'm going to let you run up until about quarter till, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the special offers and some of the special activities that you've planned out for these folks that they can do to really power up their business for 2014. So why don't you go ahead and jump right in and kind of walk us through what you were going to share with us today.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to share is it's very important for us in our marketplace to understand our numbers and then identify just what it is we need to do within those numbers. What success do we need to have, and what do we really need to accomplish once we know those numbers? And I tend to find that whenever I do this and whenever I sit down with my team and we actually sit down and see, well, what do we really need to do based on the numbers, and is it feasible based on the numbers? And that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm a guy that believes in understanding the numbers in his marketplace and using those numbers to direct his actions. And based on those actions, I usually always achieve the results that I'm looking for. One of the things that I say, and everybody talks about doing massive increases in business, massive increase in business. I was just a guest speaker at a sales seminar in Southern California last week, and everybody was talking about massive increases in the number of business they want to do. Well, I'll tell you something. I understand the benefit of setting huge goals, but sometimes in a particular marketplace, massive increases are not realistic, especially in a marketplace that's declining in the number of sales transactions that are taking place, declining in the number of refinance transactions that are taking place. We all know that the refinance boom is faded. All of us that were living on refinances or were benefiting. I've never lived on refinances, but I've certainly benefited by the refinance booms. That piece of my business is virtually non-existent right now. I think this month, 91% of all the applications we're taking are purchase applications. Last month, 82% of all the loans we closed were purchase applications. So the pendulum has swung back to the purchase side. And I need to know my numbers on the available purchases in my marketplace that are there to be financed, okay? I need to also know who are the people in my marketplace that are actually working with buyers, who have buyers to refer to me. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, I'll share my numbers with you. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, there's about 2,800, 2,900 licensed realtors. Those are licensed dues-paying members of the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors. Now, that's 2,800 this year. The dues come due in October, November, December. They're always due in October, and they're past due in November, and absolutely positively we won't extend it past December, and they usually do. But the reality is there's dues coming up, and there's dues payable here. It'll be interesting to see January 1, January 15, how many dues-paying members there are of the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors. But right now there's 2,900. One of the things that is important for me to know is how many of those 2,900 are actually doing business. Well, by virtue of investigation into the numbers at the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, I've come to find out that 1,100 of them didn't do any business last year. 1,100 of them didn't do any business last year. That's 2012. And it's about the same this year. I came to find out that only 327 of them had 4 or more transactions close. And that's about in 2012. And that's about the same this year. I came to find out that only 172 of them had 12 or more buyer-controlled sales close, 12 or more. And that's about the same this year. It's 174 so far this year. 174 so far this year have had 1 or more buyer-controlled sales close each month of the year. Okay? So that takes that 2,900 number down of total realtors in my marketplace, and it focuses it on 172, 173, 174 realtors that, by virtue of their buyer-controlled sales production, really matter to me. Okay? I can't afford to to 2,900, and I shouldn't be because 1,100 of them aren't doing anything. I can't afford to market to 1,700, 1,800, and I shouldn't be because only 374 of them are doing 4 or more transactions a year. The group that I really need to focus on are the, so far year to date, 174 agents that have at least one buyer-controlled sale that they can refer me. Okay, and that's what I've set about doing in 2013. Laser targeting the realtors who, by virtue of their buyer-controlled sales, really matter to me. And I'll tell you something. Let me share another statistic with you. Most every one of those agents who have, at this juncture, 10 or more buyer-controlled sales closed year to date, almost every one of them also have 10 or more listings that have sold. Actually, many of them have more listings that have sold than the buyer-controlled sales that they've had. And that's interesting to know because you've got a listing agent on every one of your transactions. And it's very interesting for you to know, and it's vital for you to know, that those listing agents on your transactions are also buyer's agents on other transactions. As a matter of fact, the National Association of Realtors will tell you that most realtors sell 50% of their listings and of their sales, 50% are listings, and of their sales, 50% are buyers that they represent. Okay, so, and it never gets more out of whack than 55-45. And if it gets out of whack at all, it gets out of whack to the listing side. Now, of course, we discount in this marketplace, we discount the bank-owned property short sales. We don't count those any longer. And there's a handful of realtors in my marketplace that do gobs of those, okay? So I try to find out who those realtors are, and I typically see that most of those realtors that do gobs of those don't do very many buyer-controlled sales. So the realtors that are focused on short sales, on bank repos, on HUD repos, on Fannie Mae repos, typically don't do very many buyer-controlled sales, okay? So the traditional realtor that is listing properties for sale by traditional sellers and the traditional realtor who is representing traditional buyers are the people that I'm looking for. That's the long-term play that I'm looking for in my marketplace. Those are the people that year in and year out have business to refer to me, and those are the people I'm looking for. So I know my numbers, and I know who the players are. How do you find those numbers out? One of the things you do is join your board of realtors as an affiliate member, and you get involved in your board of realtors, and you get involved with the people down there at the board that know those numbers and understand the math, okay? And that's what I've done, all right? And therefore, I know what the numbers are in my marketplace, and I know who the players are in my marketplace, okay? So there's a graphic up here that I see that Eric's put up, and selling is nothing more than finding a prospect and turning them into a client over and over and over again, okay? And that's what we want to do, but the very first part of it is finding them. Who are they? And identifying them, and then developing a campaign to reach out to them, okay? Once you know the numbers in your marketplace, then you can better put your time at play, put your funds at play. You simply can't afford to market to everybody. But you can't, I can't afford to market to 174 people, and I can't afford to target 174 people and get them to breakfast, get them to lunch, get them to learning about me, about my company, and about the value that I bring. I can do that. That's a very doable number. And I can do it, you know, what I've basically done is taken my loan officers that work for me, there's 9 of them, and we've all sat down, we've divided up the names, and we've divided up the people, and everyone who's taken a name has 90 days to get a loan from that individual. Is my definition of a referral partner is somebody who's referred you a loan in the last 90 days. So everyone has 90 days to get a loan from that particular person that they took at our initial meeting. And after 90 days, if they haven't got a loan from them, then those leads come back to me, come back to the house, and my marketing team, who's myself and my son, we seek those people out. We seek a meeting. and we seek to develop a relationship. And if we're successful in doing that, we give them back to the loan officer who was not successful at getting a relationship with them, and we do that, and we provide that lead to our loan officer, and hopefully our loan officer goes from there. And in many cases, they do goes from there and flourishes with that relationship. Okay, but knowing your numbers is critical. Okay, making sales calls is critical. I'm sitting on a stage in Palm Desert last week, and I inquired of the 1,500 loan officers that were there, and I said, all right, I said, I just asked this question in Las Vegas at the NAMB function. I said, I had a couple hundred people in the room earlier this week at the NAMB function. I said, I asked this question of them. I said, I'm going to ask this question of you. Hold up your hands when the numbers apply to you. I said, how many of you have had, last month, in the month of September, had 30 belly-to-belly, face-to-face sales calls with a referral partner or with a referral partner prospect? How many of you raise your hand? There were 1,500 people in the room. No more than 5 hands went up. I said, okay, same question, 25 belly-to-belly sales calls. Just a few hands went up. Okay, 20. Same number of hands went up. 4 or 5. 15. Several more went up at 15, but not 50. 10. Several more again, but not 50. So of the 1,500 people in the room, I'm going to speculate that only 200 of them, of the 1,500 people in the room, had 10 or more belly-to-belly sales calls with a referral partner or a referral partner prospect. How can you possibly build your business or consider building your business or hope to build your business if you're not making sales calls? I simply don't understand. I don't understand how a loan originator who's paid a lot of money to come to this conference in Palm Desert, who heard some of the most successful loan originators in the business explain their systems and their strategies, how they could sit there, and many of them have been there before, and actually not be able to raise their hand that they've had more than 10 belly-to-belly sales calls in the previous month. It escapes me as to how they feel they're going to be successful in this business. You have got to get together with people, and you've got to let them know who you are and allow some trust to build between you before you're going to be able to gain their business referrals. What we need to understand is that we as loan originators are taking that realtor's commission check and they're entrusting it to us, and we're taking it and we're holding it until such time that we can get a loan approved for them. They're basically at our mercy. And the statistics I just shared you are indicative of why they're so intense and why they're so nervous and why they're so goosey about everything. Most of them are not closing one transaction a month. Only a very small percentage of them are closing one transaction a month. How would you like to have your future for the month, your ability to pay your mortgage payment, your ability to pay your car payment, your ability to pay your kids' tuition, your ability to feed your family based on one closing a month? And that closing better by God happen or I'm sunk for the month. I can't pay my bills. That should give us a little perspective of why the realtors that we're doing business with are so intense, and they're in many cases so hard to deal with. We're dealing with their livelihood. How can they possibly trust us to put their livelihood in our hands if we haven't taken the time to allow them to get to know us, if we haven't had meetings with them, if we haven't shared and broken bread with them? if we haven't given them an opportunity to build trust with us, how can we possibly expect them to entrust us with this their most important thing in their life, which is their livelihood? You can't possibly expect that. So you've got to build a relationship. This is not a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am business that we're in. This is a relationship building business that we're in, a trust building business that we're in. And until we understand the other person, until we employ Zig Ziglar's principles of I can have everything I want in life if I'll just help as many people as I can get what they want in life. If you approach your business this way and you say, what does that realtor want in life? What do they want in life? What can I give them that they want in life? What can I be the facilitator for bringing them that they want in life? Because if I can help them get what they want in life, then they will help me get what I want in life. What do they want in life? What does a realtor want in life? Well, they want to be able to trust you. They want to be able to look you in the eye and know that when you give them an answer, it's a highly qualified answer. And that if you don't give them an answer, it's a highly qualified no answer at this point. And I'm not opposed to saying, listen, if you need an answer right now, it's no. If you let me work on it for a few days, I think I can turn the no into a yes. Will you allow me the opportunity to do that? And then you work your tail off on it. 4 or 5 days later, if you come up empty, you've got to pick up that phone that weighs 1,000 pounds at that point, and you got to go back to them and you got to say, listen, I did the best I could. I'm up against a brick wall. I can't move any further forward on this. Have you got anybody you'd like me to transfer it to? I'm out of bullets. I'll transfer the file. I'll give them everything I got, and I'll cross my fingers for you. That's a trust-building action right there. Okay, even though you weren't able to give the realtor what they wanted in life, you were able to be honest with them and to maintain the trust factor with them. Okay, there's nothing better in life, in our business, than having to turn a loan down and then have the realtor shop at 2 other lenders and they turn it down as well. And especially if one of them takes a long time and builds up their hopes and then dashes their hopes and crashes their hopes and doesn't get the thing done. There's nothing better for a relationship than that to happen. And you want to follow up with that realtor and ask, how's that Smith loan doing? You know, I keep thinking about them and I'm so hopeful that you found somebody that can make it work. How's that Smith loan doing? And then they finally tell you, you know, I took it over to so-and-so. I wish to heck they'd have just done what you did and not led me on. I'll tell you something. When you have a conversation like that with a realtor you're attempting to build trust with or you have built trust with, it's a wonderful conversation. Sure, you feel bad that they didn't get what they wanted, and you feel bad for the Smiths that they didn't get their house, but you feel real good about the fact that you were the professional who gave them an answer quickly, okay, and accurately, and your answer was upheld by the other lenders that they took the file to. You can't develop all that unless you are developing a relationship, unless you are building trust. So I want to say to you this morning that you need to prospect. You need to spend your time identifying the realtors that matter in your marketplace, and you need to spend your time inviting them to get to know you. Now, I use breakfast and lunch, and it's something I've used for years. I find that when you break bread with somebody, you break down barriers. When you break bread with somebody, you get an opportunity to find out who they are, where they came from, where they went to school. You get to ask them questions about all kinds of things about their life, and in the course of asking their questions, you find out things that are similar with your life. People like to do business with similar others. Okay, Cialdini tells us about that in the 6 principles of ethical influence. One of the principles is similarity. Okay, if we like to do business with people like us, realtors like to do business with people like them. Okay, if we can identify through interaction, breaking bread, meeting, talking, we can find different commonalities. We can find different things that we like we can find out if we're similar people. And if we are similar people, it will become apparent, and it will be easier for us to build trust. It's easier to build trust with similar people, okay? I never try to close a realtor on the first breakfast or lunch. I try to find out about them, and I try to find out why it is they like the mortgage resource that they're doing business with now. I ask all kinds of questions, open-ended questions about who they are, their children, their family, everything that I can, find similarities. Then I discuss some of the similarities, we build on some of the similarities, and then I close my first meeting with them about asking them, listen, you're a successful realtor. I'm sure you have a mortgage resource that you've developed. Who is it that you're using now? When I say that, who is it that you're using now? Now is a movable target. Now, as in you're not going to be using them after now. But I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, who are you using now? And if they hesitate, you say, it's okay, we all know one another. It's a very small community. We all know one another. Then they tell you the name of the person. No matter who the person is, if it's Attila the Hun, you say, nice guy, good gal. You never sell against the loan originator. And then you ask, what company are they with? Now, understand that when I'm asking these questions now, I've got my yellow pad out and I'm jotting down the answers. Okay? Who are they with? Even if you don't know who they're with. Who are they with? Okay, they're with XYZ Mortgage Company. You want to know the mortgage company because when you come back, you'll see how I develop this. When you come back to them the next time, you're going to sell the strengths of your company against the strengths of their company, okay? Not the loan originator, the company, okay? You're going to make it an abstract features and benefits presentation and comparison, all right? It's going to be abstract so that you're not stepping on any personality toes, okay? So once they tell you who the person is, guy or gal or the company, then you say, well, let me ask you a question. Let's just ponder a question here for a moment. If you were to have a perfect now relationship with your mortgage source, what would you need to have or want to have that you don't have now? And then don't say anything. Okay, what you're doing is giving them permission in a positive way to tell you what they don't like about their mortgage provider, what frustrates them about their mortgage provider, what's upset them about their mortgage provider. And you do it in a positive way. What would you like to have that you don't have now? And everyone's got 1, 2, 3, or 4, and sometimes 5 or 6. The more they rattle off, the better. The easier it's going to be for you. And you jot them down. You don't comment on them. You don't attack each point. You don't debate each point at that time. You just write them down and nod. Write them down and nod and smile. Nodding and smiling. Okay? Once they've finished, you look at the whole piece of paper, you look up at them and say, you know, I've really enjoyed our time together today. I've really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit. Point to a couple of the commonalities or similarities. And then say, you've given me some really valuable information here. If I may, I'd like to go back to my office and I'd like to noodle on this a little bit. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to give you a call early next week and maybe we can get together for breakfast or lunch again. And I'd like to see if I can address some of the imperfections that you've shared with me. Imperfections. It was supposed to be a perfect relationship. It wasn't perfect because they shared things with you. So you're going to address some of the imperfections that you shared with me. Okay? And once you do that, you leave the meeting. Okay? You go back to your office, you fill out a little card, and you put it in the mail that day, and you send them a card, and you thank them for taking their valuable time to meet with you. And I'm looking forward to our next opportunity to get together. And that card goes out that day. Especially if you're a man, they'll be totally impressed that you did this. Okay? Men don't do little things like this. You'll be totally impressive. Okay? So don't miss out on the opportunity to totally impress them. and send a little card out thanking them for the meeting and how much you're looking forward to the next meeting. That will make sure that when you call them for the next meeting, they realize this guy's serious, this gal's serious, okay? And you schedule your next meeting. And then sometime, if you're lucky, and Eric gets us on another call, I'll tell you how you handle the next meeting. Eric?
Well, awesome, Greg. Appreciate the comment and feedback and everything that you shared with us today. I mean, Greg, one of the things that I was telling the audience about, and I don't know if you were able to hear this prior to when we got you on the call, one of the things I was talking about how instrumental you've been in my career and how you encouraged me very early on in my career to invest in myself, develop the level of support and guidance, a team of people around me who create a masterminding effect or create that outside accountability, kind of a coaching concept, which is eventually what led me into coaching, which I invested in, and that's, I think, a big part of why I'm so passionate about the coaching process and what we do here at Maximum Acceleration. I don't think were it not for meeting you early in my career, I sincerely doubt I'd be where I am now. And so,
well, you know, Eric, I totally agree with you, and most people don't realize this, but I've had a coach since 1988, and I believe in coaching. I'm a former college athlete. I was a football player, and played at several levels. I always had the benefit of coaching. I believe in the benefit of coaching, and I got to tell you, I can't imagine going it alone in this business as rapidly as everything's changing and as crazy as it gets, us having to hop around from this issue to that issue. I can't imagine not having some time, at least on a biweekly basis, but I have my coaching call on a weekly basis. But to sit down with somebody and just get back to the plan and get back to what am I supposed to be doing on an hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis to stay focused on my end game. I mean, it's so easy for us to get distracted in this business and to get totally immersed in one deal to the detriment of 5 or 6 other opportunities just because we're totally crazy on one deal. And this business, it's easy to get that way. I think, first of all, if you're not worth investing in, who is worth your investment? If you're not willing to invest in yourself, who's worth it? If you're not worth it, who else is? And for you that are listening on this call, not to take advantage of regular coaching is almost sinful. I mean, you're out there, a one-man, one-woman band standing on an island. Your company's expecting you to produce results. And in most cases, they're not offering you any coaching. They're not offering you any assistance. They're scorekeepers, but they're certainly not coaches. They're certainly not helping you in any way achieve the goal that they usually have set for you. Okay? I can't imagine. I went to my very first sales training event in 1987, and I was blown away that there were seminars and things that I could go to learn new concepts. And one of the things that I learned in 1987 was, by golly, you better have somebody to talk to on a regular basis that will bring you back to your business plan and keep you accountable to your business plan and help you move forward on your business plan, because if you don't, you're going to have so many opportunities to be distracted. It's going to be extremely hard for you to stay focused and progress and grow. So, you know, I'm on my soapbox, but I'm 64 years old, Eric. I've had a coach since 1988, and I can't imagine not having an accountability partner, an accountability person in my life. I just can't imagine how I could have gotten where I am and maintain the focus that I did to get her through all the stuff we've been through, all the things that you have no control over. Your coach helps you stay focused on those things that you do have control over, and those things that you can master, and those things that you can bring to the forefront of your business and separate yourself from the crowd in your marketplace. That's what coaching's all about, and to not plug into that is almost sinful. If you want to be a highly successful mortgage originator, learn from people who have rubbed shoulders with highly successful mortgage originators and who have in their own right been highly successful mortgage originators. Learn from those people. Don't recreate the wheel every morning at 8 o'clock when you're hitting the road. You don't have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, in the interest of time with some of the audio difficulties that we had along the way, normally we do a Q&A session at this point in the webinar, and I do have a couple of questions that come through that I wanted to address with you guys. Greg, there were a couple of questions that came through as we were talking here about some of the targeting and how do you find and identify. What is your best strategy for getting the Board of Realtors, associate executives, or whatever to let you get the data that you're looking for when it comes to targeting agents?
Well, they don't let you get the data. They guard that data with their lives. You've got to make a relationship with one of the agents out there in the marketplace to assist you. You've also there's ways to find agents. As I told you, most listing agents and selling agents are the same people. So what you want to do is find the listing agents who have the most listings. The listing agents that have the most listings are the listing agents that are going to make the most sales. So your listing agents are your best agents in a marketplace. Attend the annual banquet. Every real estate board or MLS has a top producers banquet or a top producers group, or they identify top producers. They award top producers. Those are the people you want to be doing business with. Okay.
Right. And they'll do the $10 million club, the $1 million club,
exactly.
the President's Club.
Right, and also look for listing inventories. You know, as you drive around subdivisions, you see realtors that have houses listed for sale. You see multiple realtors. Those are your top producing sales agents as well. The top listing agents and the top selling agents are one and the same people, barring the realtors that are doing the bank repos and HUD repos. Okay, and you can get in. You got to interview people. You got to get out there, and you got to know who they are. Find out who the sales managers are. Take the sales managers to breakfast or lunch and talk with them. And introduce yourself and ask them who their top realtors are. Okay, everybody knows who the top realtors are. They're not hard to find. Okay, I've been able to get to the statistics because I've been in my marketplace forever, 40-some years, and I know the people who have the numbers, and I've got a couple of people who share them with me, and they're not supposed to because it's highly guarded stuff, you know, that these multiple listing services, these boards of realtors guard with their lives. But I've been able to find those things out. But you could, I found them out. I went the very first year I was in the business. I went to the real estate banquet called the Los Mejores banquet. It was the Los Mejores, that means the majors in Spanish. And there was a banquet, and there was a guest list, and there was the top 200 agents in town, okay, based on production. And it was a folded paper right there at everybody's desk. Congratulations, and they had them in descending order of production. There's those lists at every board of realtors. There's those lists, okay? Take their production, divide it by 2, and that'll tell you whether or not they've got 12 or more buyer-controlled sales, all right? So you want realtors that have 24 transactions a year, 12 of them are buyer-controlled sales. They've got at least 1 deal a month to refer to you.
You know, I'll tell you what, we don't have time to get into it today, but I'll tell you one of my favorite strategies that I learned from you, Greg, was going after the listing agents. And my favorite response to listing agents, and that's kind of the typical, you know, loan officer brush off, oh, I only deal with listings. Great. I love working with listing agents because you guys have the buyers, right?
Let me tell you something real quick.
Waste your seller's time.
Let me tell you something real quick. One of the first things you should do, let me give you 2 steps on how to create another loan off of a loan in process. As soon as you get a purchase agreement, take a look down the left-hand corner. That's the name of the seller, and that's the seller's address. Sometimes there's a telephone number. If there's not, you can look them up. Call the seller right away. The seller, 80% of the sellers are going to buy a house. 70% of that 80% are going to buy a house within 10 miles. Okay, so 65% of those people are going to buy a house within 10 miles. Call the seller. Get to know the seller. Go by and knock on the seller's door and tell them I've got a loan. I'm a traveling loan officer here. Love to take your loan application. Are you buying a new house? I noticed you just sold your house. I'm helping Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez who are purchasing your home. I thought I'd come by and knock on your door, introduce myself, and tell you that if you haven't applied for a mortgage yet to purchase your new home, I'd sure like to do it for you. Got my stuff right here. I mean, seriously now. You know, you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. The second thing you do is get with your realtors who you're doing business with right now, and you say, listen, here's something that I would like to do for you. I'd like to help you with every one of your listing clients, get them pre-approved for their new mortgage. I'll give them a free credit report. I'll run a free FICO score optimizing software, show them how they can increase their FICO score an average of 27 basis points, and let you know, even more importantly, whether or not you're fixing to make this person homeless. I'll get them all set up for their new financing so they're ready to go. Get them over that emotional bridge of being from a seller to a buyer. Let you know if you're going to make them homeless. You know if they don't qualify for a new home, they're not going to sign your purchase agreement, or they're not going to close on the deal. Let me help you with that. I'll do it. It's all free. I'll be more than happy to help you. Think about this. If you could get every one of your agents who you're doing business with right now to let you do a pre-app on every one, or take a full app on every one of their listing clients, how many more loans in process would you have? Now, we all know in every marketplace a certain percentage of every listing is closing every month. I was just in Iowa, and this particular marketplace in Iowa, 16% of all the listings were selling every month. Okay, if you had 10 realtors that you were doing this with in Iowa, and each one of the realtors had 10 listings, that's 100 listings. If you got those 10 realtors to let you take 100 loan applications on each of their 10 listings, you would take 100 loan applications, and 16 of them would sell their house every month, and you would have 16 new mortgages every month. It's math. It's arithmetic. But you can't, the math and the arithmetic is not going to work for you if you don't get out there and do something.
Yeah, it's just a law of averages game. And, you know, Greg, there was one other great question that came across, and if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and tackle it myself, if that's all right. I know you've got a tight schedule and probably have to be jumping off here fairly quickly, but you know, one of the questions that came up is, Greg, you mentioned coaching and how powerful and important it is, and the value of it. I mean, guys, you know, there's always opportunities out there in the market, like Greg just shared with you. It's just a matter of knowing your numbers, what your targets are, and your values are. So let me share with you just a little bit about what coaching involves with Maximum Acceleration, how it works, and what we do to help you try and make sure that you are on purpose controlling your marketing activity and volume, just like Mr. Greg has shared with you today, so that you are in the driver's seat of your business. I mean, the question is, do you want to be a victim of the market, or do you want your marketing to control your victory? And so one of the things that we often talk about is think about the whole concept of creating accountability and the purpose of being focused and prioritized. I mean, look at these guys for a second. The Michael Jordans, the Wayne Gretzky's, the Tom Brady's of the coaching of the world. What do they all have in common that led to their extraordinary success? And the answer is obviously they all had a coach. They all had somebody to hold them accountable, somebody who cared as much about their own success, if not more so, than they did. And that's what my mentors and people like Greg and my coach Steve and my coach Renee and my coach James have meant to me over the years in the growth of my position and what I've done over the years. You know, it's the person who gives us that outside perspective. Now, by the way, you guys can offer this as a service of giving first to your business development partners, the realtors that are worth your time and energy that you want to work with. What about positioning yourself as an accountability partner, running buddy to those agents? I mean, we all get so busy being busy, we forget to take a stepping back and look at what we could be doing better to further refine and improve the results of what we're achieving. So if you start becoming a great accountability partner, or you start seeking out a great accountability partner, there's a couple of hallmarks of what a great accountability partner is. First of all, there's somebody who has credible knowledge that you trust to give you the right kind of guidance and perspective and advice. It's somebody who helps you take that helicopter view of what you're doing in your daily life and make the strategic adjustments that you need to, like, for example, what Greg shared about going after the listings. As you realize how powerful that would be if you got even half the results of what Greg just shared with the 100 agents with 10 agents with 10 listings. Guys, that's 50 new loan applications that you know are going to sell 8 deals a month. over the next couple of months. How many of you would like to do 8 more loans a month starting basically January or February? How hard would it be to go out and find 10 agents that had 10 listings and talk to them about a free pre-approval for their sellers to make sure their sellers are really ready to sell? Because I can guarantee you that seller goes to apply for a loan and gets denied, that's going to be a pretty quick kill to whatever contract would come through on that property. Well, how can you be that accountable really source to them, and what is the value of that to you in your pipeline and your growth and your income? So the accountability partner is also there. Your coach, somebody you're mentored with, who's working with you on a regular basis, is there to keep you focused on one step at a time, steady, little by little. Transformational growth is what we call it in the maximum acceleration system. We're working on building skill and habit that sticks long term. We're not talking about flash in the pan, fear and intimidation, browbeat you into doing something inordinary temporarily. It's about creating purpose and goal. You know, it's all about promises we make to ourselves. I mean, think about it from this perspective. Let's say January 1st, I wake up and I decide I want to go ahead and start jogging to lose some weight, a New Year's resolution type thing. Well, I go out and do it a couple of days. January 5th rolls around. I'm tired and I'm sore, and it's cold and wet and nasty outside. So I hit the snooze button and go back to sleep. But imagine on the alternative if I had a running buddy who was running with me, and it's January 5th, and I'm sore, and I'm tired, and it's cold, and it's wet, and it's nasty outside, but I get up and go jogging anyway because I made a promise to somebody else that I was going to be that accountability resource for them. What is the power of that in helping you push through the challenges and obstacles? Well, in 1998, Brigham Young did a research study on this concept or issue about how to translate ideas into action and completion. Well, if you look through the numbers of this, it's, you know, if you write a plan and make it and stick to it, you got about a 50% chance of following through. If you tell somebody about it, that jumps it to 60%. But when you set a specific time with a specific person and ask them to follow up with you, to hold you accountable, you have a 95% or better chance of completing that process and getting that commitment and making that action. So what we do in Maximum Acceleration is we drill you through a 3-phase process of assessment, planning, and execution that repeats itself in a cycle where we assess where are you, where do you want to go, and how you get there, what are the step-by-step plans, and then the follow-through and skills refinement that we do in our one-on-one coaching sessions. All of it's organized using some research technology and development that we did back in 04 and 05, and Greg was instrumental in the work that was done to create this model. But the reality is, guys, the growth of your business comes in one of 3 primary areas: how you present, separate yourself, how you generate leads, or how you handle the capacity of the leads that you generate. It's what I've come to call the 3 C's of success. It's about lead creation, lead conversion, and lead completion. In one of those 3 areas, you'll find all of the answers that you need to be able to take your business to a radically different level. So whether it's going from 4 or 5 loans a month, 10 loans a month, or 10 loans a month, 20 or 20 to 30 or 40 or 50, it's all there. It's just a matter of duplicating it on a higher level. So let's talk about what Maximum Acceleration gets you, what you get with Maximum Acceleration coaching. First of all, you get a complete battery assessment. We're going to look through 4 different proprietary assessments we use to identify all your strengths and all of your areas of opportunity for improvement in your business. We then get into a 2-hour planning session where we go deep on what exactly the action plans look like and the goals that need to be plugged in using our proprietary strategic growth planning system. You'll be then delivered a 12-month personal strategic growth plan as part of the coaching program. Then we move into 12 60-minute one-on-one coaching sessions, or if you prefer, in the preference of coach and schedule availability, a weekly 30-minute call to be able to connect with your coach and him hold you accountable or her hold you accountable to following through with that action plan one step at a time. You also get, in addition to that, 6 group coaching calls that are mastermind where you get to connect with your peers, other like-minded, top-performing originators in the market who are dedicated and focused on their growth. But guys, this is not for everybody. This is for the elite few who are serious about taking their business to the next level. In addition to that, you get also access to our library of tools and everything else that we've got going on. You also get, in addition to that, 3 bonus emergency calls between sessions one-on-one with your coach that you can utilize to be able to handle those quick challenges that come up. And here's what some of our clients have said about the results they've gotten from the coaching program. Mr. Adam Kernan from Charleston, South Carolina, by the way, he just got back from the NAMB National Conference. I had a call with him this morning. He took 5 new loan applications this week. off of the heels of one idea he picked up at the NAMB National Conference. But this was a quote he emailed me a couple of weeks ago. He said, you know, he didn't used to think he had time for coaching. It was another piece of the puzzle that he didn't think he was ready for. But boy, was he wrong. You know, had he not been coached, he didn't have time not to be coached. He couldn't afford not to because, like, for example, this quote he sent me back in June, he just had the best week of his career, originating 13 new loans in a single week. Randall Brower is another coaching client of mine. After 13 years in the business, I got into the coaching program to get my life back, even if I didn't end up doing a little less volume just because of the time away from sales. Guess what? In the first 4 months of last year, he brought in 156,000 gross in 4 months. In 2013, he even almost doubled that, doing over 247,000 in gross revenue the first quarter of this year. So what's his yield on his coaching investments over the last couple of years actually been? I don't know, it's like 200-time ROI, I think, if you actually did the math on it. Now, guys, these are numbers that are not typical. Remember, 0 plus 0 is 0, right? The average person doesn't take action and therefore achieves nothing. But the person who's a 1%er who's serious about growth in their industry and wants to take it to a whole other level, he makes the commitment and he follows through with the help, support, and guidance of a coach, and pretty dramatic things can happen. So let's talk a little bit about what coaching investment is required if you're interested and serious about taking your business to the next level. Basically, our program standard pricing is $64.95, which is just a little over $1,000 a month if you did the math on it. Now, by the way, there is a substantial discount if you do a single premium for a 6-month program. Now, we only allow our clients to renew in 6-month semesters because we want to keep the accountability high. But the reality is most of our clients are in the program for 18 to 24 months, and some even longer than that. But if you want to get started, you can actually get started with as little as $14.95 just to get your ball rolling and get through the month by month. By the way, we don't have any long-term contracts or commitments. We offer a 20-day no questions asked cancellation policy. I just don't believe in browbeating people and sending them to collections, or just think it's, you know, if the accountability is there, if they're committed and the coach is committed, we want to keep that high. By the way, there's a whole bunch of extra stuff that you get along with the coaching program that totals up over $12,000 in value. Like, for example, you heard Mr. Greg during the program earlier today talk about the Cialdini series. Well, Greg earlier this year did a 6-part webinar series on the 6 laws of ethical influence, about 7 hours of training on how to win every sale every time. $1,200 value that you get included with the one-on-one coaching investment. You also get our How to Win at Trade Shows, generating 91 leads in 19 hours. A Doubling Your Income with Power Partners on-demand video course program is also available along with this. And in addition to all of that, you get access to a monthly subscription as long as you're enrolled in the coaching program of the Loan Toolbox, Platinum Marketing, Mortgage Market Guide, and Mortgage Market Guide weekly subscriptions. All of that, over $12,000 in value, is rolled into the monthly coaching investment of as little as $14.95. Now, as a special favor and thank you to the NAMB National Association, one of the things we did put together this year is a special deal just for NAMB members. Now, there's also a fast action bonus I'm going to talk about here in just a second. By the way, if you want to check into your inbox, all of you should have received about 15 minutes into today's webinar program an email with a link to a application and enrollment form for coaching. So as I wrap up and start finishing out here, I want you to go ahead and start filling out that application or enrollment form, print it out, and be ready to fax it in, because you're going to want to be able to take action fast and take advantage of this NAMB Fast Action bonus that we put together for you. As a special favor to NAMB and in appreciation and recognition of the vital support that they provide to the independent originator, I've offered a special deal to NAMB members where we will further discount an additional $300 if, in fact, you are a NAMB member. Now, if you're not a NAMB member, we can take care of that application and enrollment form. It's less than the cost of the $300 discount, so it ends up being an additional $50 for a silver member or $125 for a platinum member, which is a full voting member of the association as a part of the program. And we'll take care of that for you as part of your enrollment. So for literally as little as half of one loan's commission, you can get started in the program. Our goal is to make sure that within 60 days, your coaching monthly investment is yielding over a 2.5 to 3 times ROI. That's our first primary goal with anybody that we bring on to the coaching program. And by the way, we hit that goal in 60 days or less about 80% or better of the time. Where we're doing 1 or 2 additional loans a month, which is enough commission to make a 2.5 to 3 times return on that monthly coaching investment. Now, I mentioned just a few seconds ago that we're offering a fast start bonus for NAMB members. For the first 10 people to take action, to go ahead and print out the enrollment form that was attached to the email you received at the start of today's webinar, to go ahead and get that form printed out, fill out the information, and indicate which investment option you want to go with. Again, the NAMB special single premium investment, if you want to pay for a full 6 months up front, $49.95. Drops it to about $900 a month. You save a little over $800 by going ahead and prepaying the entire 6 months up front. 3-payment option is $51.95 total. Regular, again, it's $4.95. It's going to be $14.95 startup and $18.50 a month, 30 days and 60 days out. Or what most of our clients do is the monthly enrollment program, which is a $11.95 first month, and then $900, $30, $60, and $90, so on and so forth after you join on. And again, if you are not already a NAMB member, we will take care of that for you as part of this enrollment process. But here's the fast start bonus. For the first 10 of you to take action and go ahead and register and submit your application and enrollment for the coaching program, the first 10 of you will get 3 additional bonus coaching sessions with your coach. If you want to go ahead and get up to speed quickly, you want to take advantage of that opportunity, now is your chance. Go ahead and act fast. Fill out the enrollment and application form. Again, remember, thanks to NAMB for working out a special deal with us, and in support of the association, we'll be providing this discount available to you. But the first 10 of you that go ahead and jump on and take action are going to go ahead and get those 3 bonus sessions. So make sure you take advantage of this opportunity and act fast. We can't hold it open forever. We only have a limited number of coaching seats available with our current team right now. So literally the first 10 of you that take action and move forward in the process of making that commitment, saying yes, that you do want to improve your business, that you want to be one of the 1%ers that is serious about taking your business to a radically bigger level in 2014, we want to help you do that. And to help you do that, we want to get you those 3 bonus sessions. Now, if you are serious about your growth and if you are ready to take things to a higher level, but you still just where you are in your career, maybe you're brand new in your market, maybe you just had a change in companies and you're just not quite ready for that size of investment, or you just don't have the capital behind you to support it right now, there is one other couple of options that I wanted to give you that will help you take your business forward, maybe not quite the level that one-on-one coaching could do for you, but certainly at a higher level than what you have access to just solely on your own. We do have our Maximum Growth Summit Planning Home Study course on DVD, the program that we walk people through at the NAMB National Conference. It's a 4-hour planning workshop that we take people through step-by-step how to build your success plan for 2014. By the way, it also talks a little bit about how to get better results out of future seminars that you might attend. You can literally take this action guide and use it at any future conference that you attend. Plug in the DVD and the video on demand home study course. You can even put it on a laptop. You'll get a digital download version of it available to you. It's only $147. If you're interested in enrolling in that program, you can go to our website directly, mxlcoach.com, and you can order it directly through our website, only $147 to get the 4-hour Planning to Win DVD home study course workshop available. That'll give you the kickstart you need to be able to take your business to a whole other level in 2014. If you still are interested but not necessarily ready to take fast action, we do have informational sessions coming up next week. The next event of our Maximum Acceleration Experience, it's going to be a live interactive coaching demo available. The next one is going to be taking place next Tuesday the 5th at 1 o'clock Central. Coach Brad will be joining us for that event, talking with you about how to help you tower up your business for the next level. Okay, the last thing I want to do with you, if you are serious about it, but you do have 1 or 2 questions about is it a right fit for you and knowing how to get started, what else that I may not have covered during this quick little overview, Be happy to offer you the opportunity to get some questions asked, answered, a 15-minute sample coaching session, strategy session. If you're interested in taking advantage of one of those one-on-one opportunities with Coach, get some strategic guidance on one or two specific problems or challenges you're facing right now, and then we can help you take it to the next level from there. If you want to take advantage of that, there's two ways to do that. One is you can go ahead and post in the Q&A section of this webinar platform right now that you want to go ahead and take advantage of the strategy session. Please give us the best phone number and email address so our scheduling team can get a hold of you to coordinate something. You can go ahead and post that you'd like a strategy session request in the Q&A section of the webinar platform, or you can go to our website at mxlcoach.com/strategy and be able to go ahead and submit the enrollment form for the strategy session at that time. All right, the last thing that I want to do for everybody on the webinar today, you've invested your time, and I respect that, and I want to help you take advantage of what you've shared. Remember, ideas without action are useless. I don't care how great an idea is, if you don't do something with it, it will not profit you. So the first thing I want you to do is before you answer that next phone call, before you jump on that next email, before you tackle that next set of conditions from your underwriter, what I want you to do is I want you to slow down for 30 seconds and take just a few seconds here to put an action plan in play of what you heard from today's program. Decide, one, what was the most valuable thing you heard from this program. One idea. You can always come back and pick up the other 50 great ideas that Greg shared with you today by watching the replay video. Okay? Just what was the one most impactful, actionable idea that you heard today? Second, what specifically do you individually need to do to start using this on a daily basis in your practice? 3 is set a specific action timeline, a goal, a target date for completion. By when do you want to have that action item completed? And then the 4th step is decide who do you want to hold you accountable. Who's going to be that accountability resource and partner for you that's going to hold you to your promises, follow up with you on a specific date and time, and give you that 95% or better chance of implementation. If you don't have that person in your life and you'd like some help finding that person, you're welcome to take advantage of the strategy session offer, go ahead and enroll in the coaching program, or get a hold of us and our team, and we'll answer any questions that you have about how to help you get started fast. Now remember, the first 10 of you to submit your enrollment form, there's about 120 of you still left on this call right now. The first 10 of you that go ahead and decide to take action are going to get those 3 additional bonus sessions to use with your coach to help you build momentum and get up to speed much faster. So guys, I appreciate the time you've shared with me today. I appreciate the value that you've had the opportunity to receive. Keep in touch. We hope you enjoy the format and the platform that we provide for you here today. If there's anything else my team or I can do to provide value for you, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Contact information is here at the bottom of the info at mxlcoach.com, or our toll-free number 888-819-7047. Reach out to our team and we'll get you set up or scheduled with one of our coaches for that 15-minute strategy session if you're interested in posting for that request. Also, if there were any additional questions that were triggered by what you heard today, or that you want to get more information or feedback on, feel free to go ahead and post them in the Q&A here at this time. I'm going to leave this platform open for just a few more minutes as we go ahead and get started, and we'll be underway momentarily. But like I said, go ahead and post those questions in. I'll make sure our team or Greg and I coordinate on getting that information, those questions answered for you. Again, like I said, we wish you the greatest of success. If there's anything our team can do to help you take action and implement and change 2014 and make it better for yourself, please don't hesitate to ask. That's our entire purpose and mission here at Maximum Acceleration, is helping you get from where you are to where you want to be as fast as humanly possible. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and step aside for just a second to take care of some back-end things. Oh, one last question here. Mention the replay of the video, where to access it. Yeah, okay. Just to answer that question, I normally cover that at the top of the call with the audio difficulties. Got a little bit sidetracked. Automatically, our procedure is that we will send out a copy of the recording of this video within about a day or two we'll be able to get that video rendering. The reason for that is there's quite a bit of back-end work that has to be done to format the video and transcode it into a format that can be posted on YouTube for easy streaming and sharing. So it does take a couple of days for our back-end marketing team to finish that work up and get that video posted. But just watch your inbox. You'll be getting a follow-up email from today's program that will have the video replay link in it. Usually within 48 hours, worst case, of the close of today's program. All right, folks, any questions, any comments, any thoughts, any concerns, please feel free to go ahead and post them now. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and let's Jude go ahead and